We all carry within us two versions of ourselves, the strong and the weak. And too often, the weak version whispers excuses into our ears, convincing us that we are not ready, not capable, not enough. It tells us to wait for the perfect moment, to sit back until life gets easier. But if Muniba Mazari had listened to that voice, we wouldn't know her as a global symbol of resilience today. After her accident, when her body was shattered and her dreams seemed unreachable, she had every reason to surrender. No one would have blamed her, but she chose differently. She chose to face her pain, her brokenness, and her fears without hiding behind excuses. That's what killing the weak version of you looks like. Standing eye to eye with everything that wants to break you and saying, "You will not have me." Excuses are comfortable. Growth is brutal. Growth is brutal. And it's in that brutal space of discomfort, facing the truth about who you are and who you want to become, that the future is rewritten. Muniba didn't wait for motivation. She became her own motivation. If you keep letting that weak voice steer your actions, it won't just slow you down. It will rob you of the life you were meant to live. The weak version of you is not harmless. It's dangerous. It doesn't just waste time. It destroys destiny. Kill it before it kills your future. The weak version will always offer comfort, but greatness demands war, and the battlefield is inside you. There will always be two voices inside you, one that wants you to shrink and one that dares you to rise. Muniba Mazari showed the world that no accident, no tragedy, no broken dream is powerful enough to stop a determined soul. Your future is too precious to gamble with fear. Kill the weak version of you before it kills everything you could become. Stand up, step forward, rewrite your story. Rewrite your story. The world is waiting for the strongest version of you. Your circumstances are not your life sentence. They are just the starting point. Too many people believe that because they were born into struggle, faced tragedy, or lost something important, their future is permanently damaged. But Muniba Mazari's life stands as a living reminder. It's not your circumstances that define you, it's your decisions. After the accident that left her paralyzed, Muniba had two choices. She could let the brokenness decide her worth, or she could make a decision to rise. She chose to paint a new life, to speak when her voice trembled, to dream when everything around her seemed shattered. Light of Standis, life will throw storms at you. Some storms will break your body, some storms will break your heart. But the decision to stand back up, to keep moving forward, is yours and yours alone. Weakness waits for life to get easier. Strength is forged in the decision to keep going when everything is hard. Every decision you make is either building the strong version of you or feeding the weak one. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become despite what happened. Every day you delay making the decision to fight back, you let the weak version of you grow stronger. Stop waiting for your circumstances to change. Change yourself. Shift your mindset. Take control of your story. Like Muniba, your greatest power lies not in what you have lost, but in the choices you still have the courage to make. The weak version of you lets life happen to them. The strong version of you makes life happen through them. Pain will come for all of us. It's not a question of if, it's a question of how you respond. Pain is a brutal teacher, but it's also the most honest one. When Muniba Mazari lay broken, told she would never walk again, she had a choice, to stay broken or to be rebuilt by her pain into something greater. She chose the latter. The weak version of you will see pain as a prison, something to escape, something to complain about. But the strong version sees pain as a forge, the place where true strength is hammered into existence. Pain strips away illusions. It forces you to confront who you really are without all the masks. If you let it, pain will teach you resilience, patience, and a hunger for life that comfort could never give you. But if you refuse to learn from it, it will leave you bitter, resentful, and stuck. Growth doesn't happen in the moments you feel comfortable. Growth happens when you are broken, tired, and still choose to fight. Muniba didn't just survive her pain, she transformed through it. She painted new dreams with hands that once trembled. She spoke new hope into others with a voice that once cried in despair. Pain either builds you or buries you. You decide. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every disappointment has the potential to make you a masterpiece. But only if you refuse to let it define you. The weak version of you fears pain. The strong version of you uses it as fuel. There's a version of you that wants to stay trapped in the question, why me? The victim mindset that clings to pain like a shield. But understand this, staying a victim robs you of your future. Muniba Mazari could have spent her life asking why fate was so cruel. She could have stayed bitter, hidden from the world, and allowed her suffering to become her entire identity. But she didn't. She shifted her vision. She moved from why me to what's next. That shift changes everything. The weak version of you builds walls around your heart, blaming life, blaming others, blaming the past. The strong version tears those walls down and dares to imagine a life beyond the pain. Muniba's vision wasn't about what she had lost, it was about what she could still create. She picked up a paintbrush with hands that once trembled. She raised her voice for those who had no voice. She became a symbol of courage, not because she was unbroken, but because she refused to stay broken. Your future is shaped by your ability to see past your suffering and into your possibilities. The weak version of you gets stuck reliving the worst moments. The strong version takes the lesson, leaves the pain behind, and builds something new. If your vision doesn't stretch beyond your past will become your prison. Lift your eyes. See who you could become, not just what you've been through. The weak version of you clings to yesterday's wounds. The strong version of you reaches for tomorrow's victories. Feelings are powerful, but they were never meant to be the driver of your life. If you let fear, sadness, or doubt control you, you will always stay small. Muniba Mazari felt fear, real, paralyzing fear. She felt heartbreak. She faced moments where getting out of bed seemed impossible. But she didn't let those emotions chain her down. She acted anyway. The weak version of you waits until it feels right. The strong version understands that action creates the feeling you're waiting for. You may not feel strong today. You may not feel motivated. You may not feel ready. But feelings are fleeting. Action is lasting. Every time Muniba picked up her brush to paint, every time she stood on a stage to speak her truth, it wasn't because she wasn't scared. It was because she had decided that fear would not decide her future. Taking action when you are scared is what separates the weak from the strong. Waiting to feel brave will waste your life. If you want to kill the weak version of you, you have to move even when everything inside you screams to hide. You have to push forward even when comfort begs you to quit. Every action you take in defiance of your fear is a victory for your future. The emotions will catch up later. Strength is built by choosing action over emotion, by stepping forward when it would be easier to fall back. The weak version of you worships feelings. The strong version honors commitment. Your future is a battlefield, and it's not something you can afford to take lightly. Every dream you have, every goal you imagine, every version of you that you secretly want to become, all of it is at risk if you allow fear, laziness, or self-doubt to win. Muniba Mazari's future could have ended the day of her accident. It could have been buried under the weight of her pain. But she knew that her destiny was too valuable to surrender to fear. She fought for her dreams when no one else could fight for her. And because she refused to let the weak version of herself win, the world now knows her not as a victim, but as a voice of strength. Every day you delay your greatness, every day you choose comfort over courage, the weak version of you gets stronger, and your future gets weaker. Understand this. The weak version of you doesn't just waste time, it robs you of purpose. It kills potential. It silences the impact you were born to make. Your future deserves better. It deserves the strongest, boldest, most relentless version of you. And the cost of not fighting for that? A life half-lived, a purpose unfulfilled, and dreams that die silent deaths inside you. You don't have time to negotiate with fear. You don't have time to argue with self-doubt. Kill the weak version now, before it buries everything you are meant to become. The weak version of you gambles with your destiny. The strong version of you protects it with everything you've got.